Hello, this is going to be a catch up session for The Promised Neverland because I've not done it in a while. I've been slacking on The Promised Neverland, especially this show. And so I'm going to be doing quite a few chapters all at once, and I'm going to go through them quite quickly. So I might gloss over some of the details, but I'll be starting at chapter 153. I'll be going all the way to 158. So that's going to be quite a big chunk to cover in this short period of time. So let's go. So chapter 153 is Emma and Ray coming into the what do you call it, the throne room, and finding out everyone has died. And we turn. This is the part where a bit of conflict between Emma and Ray. No, was I saying? No, Emma, Ray, and Norman have a bit of a discussion about what they think was right and what's wrong. And this is kind of where Norman kind of reveals his past and what he went through, and pretty much reveals his feelings, which he's been hiding the whole time from everyone else. And yeah, he tells them how he has no point. This is the point of no return. But obviously Emma, she has Naruto's no talk jutsu locked into her DNA, because this is the part where she somehow convinces Norman everything he's done up to this point is, it's not the right thing, and he convinces them to join their side somehow. I don't know. And the chapter pretty much ends with Norman going to their side. So yeah, and his facade, Norman's facade, finally crumbles because he's had this whole front the entire time about how strong of a leader he is and stuff. But yeah, it just crumbles. And with that, the three are finally officially reunited, because even though they technically met, they were never officially reunited because Norman was, he was hiding things from them, and he had other intentions. And they it's also the fact that none of the Lambda project have much time to live because of all the experiments. They've got a shortened lifespan, so that's kind of why they went and did everything as quickly as they could, because they knew they didn't have long to live. So yeah, it's kind of a painful reality to face when you know your demise is coming up very soon. But Ray and Emma's hope of curing their disease, what do you call it? It's not disease, is it? Just curing them of their I don't want to call it disease. Just helping them live longer. That's the right word. Will will be good enough. And then this is the part where the rest of his Lambda gang find out who Norman really is, and Norman's front. This is the part where they finally find out what Norman's really like, because Norman always puts up a front with them and has always been quite cold to them. So they find out he's also had level 4 spasms. So he was also close to death as well, because the rest of the Lambda didn't realize that Norman was affected as badly as they were. So yeah, it's quite severe. And then there's obviously Emma and Ray have they want to help Norman for figure out how they can live longer. But then this is what I thought was quite good. The way the hint, I mean the lead to the cure is actually what's that dude called? That really buff dude that I thought was Norman, because he doesn't have any spasms at all. Adam, that's the one. So I guess they could use him to kind of help cure everyone else. Yeah, so symptoms. So that's pretty crazy. So I guess he's the cure to saving everyone from Lambda. So yeah, that kind of gives hope for everyone to survive. And just as hope was coming all the way, guess who comes back? You know who it is? The Queen. So you know, I don't even know how, but the Queen was supposed to have died, but she came back, and yeah, we'll find out. So but it kind of cuts to another scene with the outside the walls, the palace walls, where Musica and Jin are pretty much just helping everyone, trying to make them unferal, saving everyone in the outside. But we get back to the palace, and somehow the queen's been revived. This was kind of a BS thing, but kind of made sense because the fight with the queen didn't feel like the final fight, so I guess she had to come back somehow, and she is, and she eats someone's leg. I'm like, damn. But she just starts absorbing everybody, so that was pretty crazy. And she kind of just becomes an amalgamation of everybody. She absorbs, and she becomes this massive blob of just meat that she absorbs. Crazy, and it looks pretty disgusting. I won't lie. And it kind of looks like an insect. It's got wings and everything. It looks like a bug. Yeah, but it turns out that the queen has multiple cores, which would make sense because people in royalty then tend to do have special traits. So yeah, this is pretty crazy. And with this, we even see flashbacks of Corona. Like if I was done with that, if I was done with her creepy face, but we see her face again, and we just see people that have died recently, and they've just been absorbed into the massive blob that is the queen right now. But then this massive blob was kind of like a caterpillar, and this is the metamorphosis, and then this crack kind of opens up in the shell of all the blob and comes out the queen, but she doesn't have a face, so she looks like the Slender Man. That's crazy. That was really crazy. I was like, oh, it gave me creeps just how she doesn't have a face and how she looks like the Slender Man, and she even has the same proportions as the Slender Man, so that's kind of weird. But she comes out and she looks unscathed, and she even looks stronger than she was. So that was dope. So yeah, and Ray kind of makes the point with the metamorphosis of the insects. So the caterpillar theory that I was talking about earlier. So and with them three, like what can they do against the queen? Because they used this, they had to plan. They had to plan out the attack to beat the queen, but now they can't use the same things because they don't really have the same resources anymore. And with that, we just see Zazie. Zazie completely splits the queen in half, right? But she regenerates real quick and just gives him one chop. And with one chop, he gets thrown and slammed against the wall. And I think with that, Zazie looks very hurt indeed. I think he might be dead, but I'm not sure. He might survive somehow. And yeah, and it just seems like a hopeless scenario because they don't know what to do, and they just start shooting at her because they got guns, but they're so scared, and she just has such an intimidating presence that they don't really know what to do. But and yeah, even I was feeling a bit nervous in this state where the queen is like millimeters away from Ray and Emma. Obviously, she's not gonna kill them straight away because she wants to eat them, and yeah, I was like, what can they do? She's that close to you. But luckily, she gets saved by Sonju and Musika. They come in right on time. So it turns out they've pretty much sorted out the chaos outside by turning everyone back to normal with the blood. And with this, the face off has now become between Sonju and the Queen. So and this is kind of a bit of a plot twist. It turns out they actually know each other. And yeah, apparently Sonju is the Queen's little brother, so he's also from royalty as well. That was a bit of a plot twist for me, especially. I was like, "Yo, what's going on?" So then we get a flashback of Sonju, and it turns out he is a lord, and we see this retainer. His retainer, is kind of teaching him this like what do you call it, teaching about the nature and stuff, like an ideology that he possesses, and about how life is sacred and blah blah blah, it's just ideology is being taught by this retainer. And I guess that's kind of what made him who he is, because of this ideology. And as you can see, that the his retainer, that in what happens to his retainer is he gets thrown out. And with that, he's already been influenced by him, so that's why he has a different ideology to everyone else. And yes, so fates clash in a head-on confrontation. So yeah, it's brother versus sister, so let's see who wins. So yeah, and the queen mentions you were taken prisoner by that ancient faith and rebelled against the royal family. So yeah, so his ideologies is pretty much what forced him to defect and go with Musica, and he took the cursed blood and escaped. So yeah, so this is kind of a confrontation of ideals, pretty much, which is going to be pretty crazy to see. And we get an explanation about her second core, and we know that her first core is broken, so her second core must be somewhere. And we've already figured out where it is actually. So Sandra's quite quick to notice that it's in the stomach somewhere. But even when he slashes her in the stomach, he couldn't get the finishing blow. So that's pretty crazy indeed. So I don't know what they can do. But Sanju's quite a formidable fighter as well. So yeah, I want to see how it goes. But his arm gets amputated straight away, so I hope he can recover quickly because he'll need to. But do you know what's funny? So yes, I was gonna say Sanju doesn't really have a chance against the Queen, even though they're both from royalty, because she's far superior in strength and everything. But then she tries to attack Musika, and Musika, she pulls out Naruto's no talk no jutsu right in front of her, and it was goddamn super effective because she tries to attack him, and the first thing she says is, "Why are you hungry?" So she just stands there, it's nothing, just words. All she does is exchange words, and yeah. So then we get a flashback of Musika and her life and what she's been up to, and this is kind of her monologuing mode. She talks about her life and how she's been different from the very beginning, and how she's been saving everyone, but then she became sad again. So for the last 700 years of her life, she's just been different, and she's been contemplating her life and her existence so far. And yeah, she knows that the queen has done her wrong, but she's like, "Why are you so hungry?" And they just start talking. It's pretty crazy. And with that, they just keep talking, and then she kind of gets to the queen's head, and she starts talking about why she wants it and the desire. So it's just about endless thirst. But this is when talk no jutsu really hit its effect. And when Musica just says your downfall has already happened and you are dead. So all Musica did was just talk with the queen, and the queen pretty much dies. That's pretty crazy. So yeah, but it turns out that these demons do actually have a limit to how much they can eat, because the cells have reached the limit. That's what she mentions. And as as the demons eat people, they're what do you call it? They kind of slowly but surely absorb all the living things they eat. So as we can see here, we see everyone's consciousness kind of sink into hers, and they all like amalgamate into one consciousness, and her brain pretty much explodes. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. So people just lose their sense of self as they eat more and more. So that's kind of the thing I've understood from this. And because the queen has eaten so many people in this short period of time, her her self being just pretty much collapses, and she dies. So yeah, and yeah, Musica she didn't move once. All she did was talk, and that was pretty crazy. So you've been devoured by all the life that you have taken. So in the end, it was kind of like karma, because the demons devour people, but in the end, they the queen got devoured by everyone else. So that was pretty crazy. So yeah, that was my kind of rubbish but quick overview of the last 5, 6 chapters that I've read. So this is the latest, is 158 reasons for being born. So with this, the queen should be finally defeated. She's not coming back, hopefully not, because this feels like a good end for the fight between the queen and everyone else. So a resolution has been met. So I don't know what's going to come next, because Norman and his group did some heinous things to the demons that I don't know if it can be redeemed at all. But we'll find out what their consequences will be. So hopefully this is the end of the conflict and the resolutions will begin. So bye bye. We'll find out more next week.